I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioner, if you'll please bow your heads and join me for the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thank you all. Okay, good morning, everybody. Our next scheduled public workshop will be Friday, December 3rd, 10:30 a.m. in this room. And our next regular meeting will be Wednesday, December 4th, 10:30 a.m. in this room. There will be no meetings next week, but we will have our budget hearings Monday and Tuesday, November 25th and November 26th. I believe those start at 9 a.m. Right here in this room. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Here.
Ms. Frenchco. Here. Mr. Malloy.
Here.
Item number 1 is to dispense with reading the minutes of the regular meeting dated November 14th, 2024, and accept and approve the video recording of the meeting as the official meeting minutes.
Motion to approve. Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
No.
Item number 2 is to approve the bills.
Motion to approve. Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 3 is to adopt a resolution authorizing expenditure for responding to or mitigating the public health emergency from American Rescue Plan Act funds. And this is roofing and improvements to the Trumbull County Planning Commission building, including MOU. And commissioners, on the next page, architectural structure design services, preparation of bid documents and creation of shop drawings took place in the amount of $27,000. Improvements to the Trumbull County Planning Commission building, $105,338.16. And on the next page, number 3, the project is hereby authorized and shall be paid for from the ARPA funds in the amount not to exceed $78,338.16.
Motion to approve. Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 4 is to adopt a resolution authorizing expenditure for responding to or mitigating the public health emergency from American Rescue Plan Act funds. And this is for the Trumbull County Law Library facility, including MOU. And on the next page near the bottom, complete removal of existing concrete stairs and retaining walls outside the Trumbull County Law Library facility, which shall be carried out by the Trumbull County Maintenance Department as set forth in more detail in attached memorandum of understanding marked as Exhibit A. And on the next page, number 3, the project is hereby authorized and shall be paid for from the ARPA funds in the amount not to exceed $326,150.
Motion to approve. No second. Okay, motion dies for lack of a second.
Can I second it for purposes of discussion? I'd like to go back.
You can second it.
Has the work already been done on this one?
It's not.
This
No.
is one that I thought 300 something thousand dollars was too high for steps, you know? I understand that it's. Okay. Right, I just wanted to see if it was actually done, because I know sometimes you guys do stuff without letting us know. Okay. Okay. Okay,
Okay, so I'll take the roll.
okay.
I agree with that. I too brought up my concerns early on that I feel that is a pretty steep price that was before me, before I came on the board. I'd like to see more of the details of what the costs are going into and a breakdown of how we come with over $300,000 for cement, 7 cement steps.
Yeah,
So I'll take the roll. Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
I would like to abstain on this one until we see more. I didn't agree with the dollar amount. So until we see that.
Mr. Malloy.
That's a no.
Item number 5 is to approve a memorandum of understanding by and between the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners and Trumbull County Emergency Management Agency for the purpose of undertaking the mobile command post project in the amount of $1 million and funded through the American Rescue Plan Act funds utilizing the fund as listed.
Motion to approve. I'll second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 6 is to amend Commissioner's regular meeting agenda dated October 9th, 2024, item number 35. And that was to enter into an agreement between the Board of Commissioners of Trumbull County, the Trumbull County Engineers Office, and the Vernon Township, Trumbull County, Ohio Board of Trustees to penetration patch and chip seal on Vernon Township roads. The County Engineers Office and Township shall collectively be known as the parties. The county, through the engineer's office, shall coordinate, furnish all materials, labor, equipment, and planning, and supervise the referenced work. The township will be responsible for payment of 100% of costs incurred relating to the project in an amount not to exceed $160,000, with $151,673.78 being paid from the township ARPA funds, and the remaining funds to be paid from the township's gasoline tax. Project shall be completed by September 30th, 2025, and specific road selection will be determined by April 1st, 2025. The amendment is necessary to correct the amount being paid from the township funds from $151,673.78 to $151,637.78 to be consistent with the agreement referenced.
Motion to approve. I'll second that.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 7 is to adopt a resolution authorizing expenditure for responding to or mitigating the public health emergency from American Rescue Plan Act funds. And this is for the 4-H building replacement, including MOU. And Commissioners, not on the next page, but the following page, middle of the page, replacement of the 4-H building, $850,000 as articulated in more detail in the attached memorandum of understanding with the Trumbull County Building Inspection Department attached as Exhibit A. And down below number 4, the project is hereby authorized and shall be paid for from the ARPA funds in the amount not to exceed $850,000 as set forth in the attached memorandum of understanding.
I'd like to make a motion to approve that one.
Second.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Item number 8 is to adopt a resolution authorizing expenditure for responding to or mitigating the public health emergency from American Rescue Plan Act funds, and this is for Best Purpose, Inc. On the next page at the top, this is a one-time grant to Best Purpose, Inc. in the amount of $50,000 to be used for Best Purpose, Inc. operations as set forth in the attached grant agreement marked as Exhibit A.
Motion to approve. Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 9 is to enter into an agreement between the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners and Best Purpose, Inc., as approved by ARPA Legal Counsel, to provide funds for the Best Purpose, Inc. operations as fully described in Exhibit A, and the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners allocates the sum of $50,000 to Best Purpose, Inc.
Motion to approve. I'll second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to table number 10. Mr. Bellish from Buckeye Energy wanted to discuss more details of the aggregation program at a workshop. The workshop was canceled, so we didn't get a chance to do that. And the gentleman and gentlelady from NOPEC also wanted to update their presentation on what they did before. This is a motion here that there's no contract with, there's no terms, no details in. And I think it's premature for us to just pick one and vote on it without hearing out the three entities that we had and having a meeting to discuss amongst commissioners to discuss the details and try to compare apples to apples even more. And if this is something, our contract does not end until March. If we go into December, January, we're not tying any hands from what I understand too much. And the prices do fluctuate and change and are locked in month to month. So I'd like to table this matter.
I'll second it, but on the condition that the board really, obviously with two board members coming off the board, this is something that needs to happen rather soon, obviously. So I hope that the board keeps that in mind.
So for discussion,
And I'm just doing it for purposes of more information for one commission.
we've already had presentations and people have already followed up with emails and additional information. And we're at a point where the Buckeye, who we do have an agreement with, is still working for the county and checking the rates and making sure that we're in a position where if they become more favorable to the residents, where he can do that because he knows he's going to have the next agreement. I think it's, I don't think it's very professional not to extend the person who's still doing that work the courtesy of making up our minds right now.
Do you have a contract? You wouldn't do any sheriff's department contracts unless you saw a renewal every year
Yes.
and you saw all the new
Yes.
terms.
Well,
Because I'm sure over the last 3 years, some of the terms may have changed.
No, honestly, if you would look at your emails, you would see that that was done and the prosecutor's office even reviewed it because the prosecutor's office knows time is of the essence on this. Even though that it doesn't start until March, there are still some concerns. And since he's aware of this, and this is just something that needs to happen for the benefit of our community and making sure that they save money.
And we have a new president coming in that is pro-American energy and is going to be doing a major push for natural gas exploration in the United States. I believe the rates will come down personally.
Oh, okay. That's fine. That doesn't mean that we can't start that at this point. I mean,
I think we have to decide this by the end of the year, though, Commissioner, at the end of the day.
I would agree. If we can agree to meet and
That's
discuss
fine. That's fine.
apples to apples, special meeting or something,
That's
I'm
fine.
totally in favor of that.
we've already, okay, so let me be upfront. We've already had a meeting or two, I believe it was two, where people were coming who,
You attended one where there was a presentation, one of the three.
no, we're not going there because
You did.
no, I was on whether or not I was in person, I heard and was aware of and reviewed the material and have listened to every single word of every single presentation because there were three. So we've already had that. I think that this seems like a delay tactic by someone who quite frankly doesn't seem to understand the importance of it.
I do. That's why I want to get the
Okay.
best rates and I want to
So you
shop
have
around to look at contracts before I sign
that
them.
has already been discussed in a previous meeting. I remember the meeting very clearly and specifically and the concerns that were raised. I would be happy if we can have those individuals even discuss things right now in a public open meeting session like this, where people are paying attention so that we can make those decisions quickly. We cannot wait until, we're going to have all these dates off because of holidays, and this needs to be something that we address more quickly. Commissioner Cantalasa, do you mind if they presented now? Again, I mean, the reality is they already have. It's
Well, we
like,
don't have
We don't have all three.
all of them here. So that's, Commissioner, the majority of the board has moved forward. I believe we're in consensus to move forward with our decision. So
Okay.
can we move on?
Call the vote, please.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Ms. French.
And I've had this on the agenda sent to the clerk for close to a month now, I think for 2-3 weeks. And she has refused to put it on the agenda until now to give one commissioner time to make sure it sounds like the other people were here. So no.
Okay, motion passes. Number 11.
Skip number 10.
And you guys can't talk at the end during the discussion session. You're here. If you want to discuss any updates or anything like that, we can do that in the discussion session.
And then maybe we can actually come to a consensus as a board and make our motion at the end of the meeting. That would be wonderful.
Like I said, there's only 2 of the 3 here. Wouldn't be fair to the third.
They were already here. Everyone has already been here once. And if there's any additional information, they can send it via follow-up. There was already an open meeting where every single interested party has been here to present.
Number 11, please.
Item number 11 is to approve the modifications to the architectural designs completed by Baker Bednar Snyder and Associates for renovation/design of the Trumbull County Coroner's Office Building, formerly the Trumbull County Board of Health, located at 176 Chestnut Street, Warren, in the amount of $29,136. The new contract total, including the modifications, will be $78,636, and to authorize Danny Malloy, President of the Board of Commissioners, to execute any and all documents. And I'm going to read the note. The original contract was awarded to Baker, Bednar, Snyder and Associates in the amount of $49,500 by the Board of Commissioners on April 24th, 2024.
Motion to approve?
I'll second that.
And then for discussion, has this, I don't even know, because people don't do things properly and share things with all of the board, if this is going to be the project that's going to be pursued. And we were talking a moment ago about things being too expensive, or at least Denny was, to spend money on them. And this could be a multi-million-dollar capital improvement. And I would just like to know the direction that the board at this time is taking, and I'd like to know if the work has already been done. Is this a change order? Because I believe it has. Is this a change order done after the fact in order to cover the costs of things that were not approved?
This is for the architectural design, the final cost
Right.
of the Chestnut.
That's already been done. The work is
It
already.
has been.
Yeah, exactly. The work has already been done, and yet you're still approving a change order that was done after the fact. We don't have to. Last week, there was money that was a change order that was approved for work that was already done. And when someone does work for an amount that is not part of the original contract, they do so at their own risk. We don't do this, and the county shouldn't be in a practice of retroactively paying individuals or businesses who exceed the number that they're originally contracted for services to perform. And are they going to pursue this?
It is a possibility still. We've not decided where our final building is going to be. We have this, if we want to go here, now we have this part of it done. I would like to explore other possibilities. I don't like that the contract went more than what it was, but I don't believe Trumbull County should be in the business of stiffing professional services to architects that we deal with a lot.
Sure.
And I don't want to get reputation of we don't pay our bills.
That's not, the point is that's not a bill, because this is a consistent pattern in Trumbull County where a bill is something where there's an invoice for services provided that were agreed upon. If you don't have an agreement to provide services in excess of an amount, there is no bill. They can't submit a bill, which is why these change orders are coming on. This is not okay. This is a common practice in Trumbull County. Happened last week, happened this week, and now you're spending almost $80,000 on a design that was estimated to be over $2 million. And now they're deciding not to do it.
I'm not deciding.
You're
I'm
not
deciding to move forward with this project.
You're deciding to do the $2 million project.
I'm deciding to to look into this project for the coroner's office. Yes. That was the
That's
intent all
possibility with me
along.
too. We don't know all the options yet. We know what it will cost to go there now.
So you got, how many, let's just for a moment.
So we're gonna spend an extra $29,000 and we bail on that. We may be able to save $1 million somewhere else if we bail on this one.
Please explain your logic.
If we find another place that's less than 2 million, the 1 million that we expected it to be.
The point is we should not be having the coroner manage the architecture and the engineering of multi-million dollar projects or any construction projects for that matter.
Or not.
Because
not.
he's going above and beyond on everything. That if we see a pattern on how.
There's nothing on here that is
Hold on.
fluff on this.
We
This is
see-
all
If we see.
minimum
I'm just saying-
standards.
No, it's not. If we see a pattern on how he conducts business, how he brought to us originally, false appraisals for a building in downtown Warren that was actually his office building in his office building.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, he did. He sent us,
Just a lie.
whoa, no. So let me.
Is
just
that
do
where
this.
he's at?
Let me
Did
just
we
do
do
this.
that?
The coroner sent us a request to purchase a building that he wanted to remodel. He wanted to buy that building so badly that he negotiated directly with the owner of the building and sent over an appraisal to justify the for sale by owner price. That for sale by owner price and that appraisal that he submitted was his personal office building that was a much higher value in another community, not in downtown Warren. So you cannot trust his,
Okay, and you said no.
business
The board said
acumen.
no, right?
there is none.
We
Board said no.
didn't proceed.
It's our
on-
decision.
Right, they didn't proceed, but what I'm saying is that sets the tone for all of these other things that he's requesting. Let's fix up this building and spend $80,000 on it and then make it a $2.1 million building. The way he thinks also relative to how he was budgeting, when he presented his budget where he wants to add this for this staff and make sure that this is the highest person and then attract people from other communities. It's not a doctor's practice, okay? It is a public service and we're spending taxpayer money and the bare minimum is all we need when we're spending tax funds. And we can't allow him to continue to drive the car relative to making these recommendations to the board because as you see, he's wasting money and going over budget.
None of
already.
this had anything to do with our coroner. This was us, the Board of
Okay.
Commissioners saying, let's look at Chestnut Street since the health
No.
department's not there.
The-
Yes, we
no,
did.
the-
We voted on this.
Right.
We did it. We
I-
never talked to the doctor
We
before that.
you sat in a meeting over here and he was the person dealing directly with the engineer, I'm sorry, with the architect to change things, to change this, to change
There was
that.
nothing changed. He said with the
Yes.
bare necessities he needed, HVAC, he
Right.
needed good
Okay.
plumbing for the bodily fluids and he needed a lift so
No,
his
but
employees
we're all
can
there.
get it up to
You
the
don't
second
get to
floor.
You don't get to rewrite history. Everyone who is here gets to, knows.
They can all go
firsthand.
watch the meeting and see.
Right.
This was our decision that we tried to force them into the building. When we went and the architect looked
Originally.
at it, the architect said, with human beings working
Right.
above the morgue and the fumes from the decaying bodies, we need an HVAC system that was in excess of $500,000 just for that.
He
We
was
didn't
dealing-
expect that.
He was dealing with that directly.
He was
because
not
I
dealing with that
remember
directly. We were the ones that
Bill-
said, we
no.
want you in this building, and we hired the architect to see if you can fit the building for what we need.
Him and his.
Basic
him-
necessities.
Him and his staff brought the proposal for the increase and they were the point of contact for, it was not our maintenance department that was the point of contact. It was our coroner's office. It was the point of contact. I remember that very clearly. It was the coroner driving the
You're
car.
absolutely wrong. We asked the coroner for his professional opinion on what he needed to be a coroner, on what services he
Okay.
needed to provide. He gave us that. He never asked for one bit of fluff.
Okay.
This guy
Yeah,
was
he did.
working in
Yeah, he did.
deplorable conditions for the last
He-
4
he-
years that looked like
He-
a Saw
he literally
movie.
Came and said that he needed out of his building because he thought that it was a fire hazard.
It's
and
horrible.
It was.
Were you there?
I went over.
The
it
cooler didn't
together
even work.
myself.
Their bodies rotting in the
No,
cooler two
wait.
different times in the last 3 years. Because the cooler shut down.
I'm talking about even his.
What if that was your
office.
son or daughter?
Before that was even the situation, he still wanted a new building because he said that his feet were too big to go up and down the steps. He showed me his foot on on the tread. So that is what we're dealing with, okay?
I'm not putting our employees in garbage conditions the
Okay.
way they were. The best thing we did was the day we moved him out of there.
All right.
And even though now he's working in a garage, it's way better conditions than what he was working in.
Actually, if you want to be honest, the Board of Elections building over there,
He doesn't do any bodies there.
the building over there actually has the best HVAC system of all the Trumbull County buildings.
Is it
by the way.
approved for dead rotting bodies?
That's not, I'm talking about.
Are you an
where his office
HVAC
was.
pro?
You know.
Yeah.
No, and how many other
And
buildings?
and
Other buildings are we trying to spend? So you want to do this one that could be 2.1 million, the dog pound, the EMA. I mean, what are we looking at? Like the 911 building? Are you guys looking at like $10 million and capital improvements and new
if
buildings?
that's what we need to do down the road to upgrade 30 years of as you say, abuse of the buildings and not
With it-
maintaining the buildings.
Right, with a declining population and losing all that ARPA money because it's all being spent. I don't think it's wise.
Clearly,
So
Clearly,
Commissioner,
think it's wise to
what is your proposal
I'm
that we
just
do with
saying
the?
that you
Board of
guys should
Office?
be-
No.
Uh-huh.
You're very critical of it. What is your proposal that we do?
do you want him to work in a trailer? Do you want us to
I'm
get a
just
FEMA
curious.
trailer and put him in that?
That's what we need to do. We need to actually discuss this and decide something that's
You're not at
most
any
eco-
workshops.
the most cost effective, we're discussing things here. You weren't at the last two workshops, right? They were canceled because you didn't want to show up. I was sitting there with my notes ready to be on the phone. You guys.
Maybe
didn't get
there
it.
were meetings this
Yeah.
year that we needed to do. Way over it.
So you didn't have, so because there were enough meetings, you just didn't want to do it?
No, there are other obligations. There's a
Okay.
lot going on in the county. If you get out and about and meet with the department heads, you'll see. There's a lot of meetings both of us have been attending over the last 2 months.
Okay. Cancel the workshops more.
You don't even come to them.
Anyway, we will need to discuss the coroner, and I want to bring up at the end of the meeting, we'll bring it up now. We did have Mahoning County reach out. They have a new building that they're getting right on the border in Austintown where they invited and asked if we would like to explore the possibility to have a conversation of their corner and our corner working together in their new facility that's 500,000 square feet.
If that's the
So
case,
that may be a possibility too. We don't know.
if that's the case, then you, as a board, should be considering the budget next year.
We will.
And looking at outsourcing some of those internal costs. Because if you're going to be working collaboratively, maybe you can be, outsourcing.
We're
some
fortunate we
professional
have one of the
services
best
too.
forensic examiners,
Okay.
only 8 of them in the state, and we have one. Our family members that are dying are getting treated with the most
Wonderful.
professionalism of anywhere in the state right now, with dignity also.
What's the question called?
For item number 11, Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Because this was done completely improperly and at their own risk because there was no agreement or approval prior to the work being done. This is backwards. I'm just voting no consistently.
When we met with the architect too, on a final note, what he did for this building, he can apply those drawings to other buildings anywhere we go at a very reduced cost. So he did the bulk of the work already with designing a morgue. Now he just has to retrofit the design he has here into wherever we put them. So it'll be less cost down the road. Although we're paying 29,000 extra, if we could save $1 million and have less down the road in architectural costs, it's a win.
Maybe he could have waited and billed for that next go around and done it the right way.
They're
Yep.
a business. They're not in
Okay.
they're not in the
Well,
charity
he wasn't
business.
approved to do that. They were only approved for a
Number
certain
12.
dollar amount. Any contractor that does business with the county should only be doing and performing services to the amount of what the contract says. And if they exceed that, they need to get a change order approved by the Board of Commissioners before they proceed with the work. That's just the right way.
Item number
I'm sure the
12.
attorney back there for the county would agree.
Item number 12 is to receive the request from Natalie Rothenbucker Esquire, attorney for the petitioner, Life Storage LP, requesting to withdraw the petition for annexation of approximately 7.9561 acres of land, parcel number 28-522200, also known as 3942 Youngstown Road, located in Howland Township, to the city of Warren, Trumbull County, Ohio, filed with the Board of Commissioners on October 7th, 2024.
Motion to approve?
I'll second that.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 13 is to transfer monies.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr.
Uh,
Cantala Mesa,
No, there's discussion first. Is there any additional information for these other, not necessarily these, but for the sanitary ones? Because I saw just like fixing budgets and not knowing where funds were coming from before. I'm sorry, I should have waited to the next two items moving forward, but I'm just asking you now, largely for number 15 one.
Bob Myrano, sanitary engineers. These four money transfers are closing out of projects.
Yes, I understand that. And that's why I said I probably should have waited because you're on the next three. And I was asking for more information on the 15.
All right, well, let's call the vote on 13 then.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes,
Item number 14 is to approve additional appropriations.
this,
Motion to approve?
Second,
and then this is one.
if you want.
It said fixing budget for this one and the next one.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Wait,
Yes.
Wait, so she wants to hear from Mr. Mariano.
Bob Myrano, sanitary engineers. The increase in appropriations goes hand in hand with the money transfers. We didn't have enough money appropriated to transfer the money from where it came from to start the project.
It doesn't, okay. You're talking about for number 15.
14.
Yeah. Okay. So 15 would be hang on a second. Yeah, 15 issues not there wasn't much of an explanation entered. And I wrote that on. It doesn't relate to number 15 then, what you just said.
That's 14.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Call the roll, please.
Call the vote.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 15 is to approve transfer of appropriations.
Motion to approve?
Second,
That's the one that I had, fixing the budget without enough information.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
What's your question?
Sanitary engineers.
which one are you asking about?
15.
Which fund number?
That's not an explanation I have in there.
Huh?
That's not an explanation I have in there. I mean, I have 4 items again that are transferring to close projects. I have a gearbox purchase, excavating work, purchase of equipment, and InfoSend bills.
So those were that's for your
15.
transfers. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it says fix budgetary issues to close project. I mean, that's just moving money to close the project, to transfer the money.
Yes, but you just explained what it was for. So that whenever we get those, it doesn't, that's what I'm saying, not enough info. It just doesn't give any
And you could have
information.
got on the phone yesterday and called them after you got the agenda, like we did.
Well, normally whenever there's a workshop, they explain a little bit more. And
And if there's not a workshop, you want someone to bring the work to you and do your work for you. You don't want to look it up yourself.
No, actually, the email that was sent out said that since there's no workshop, then individuals need to reach out to the commissioners. So I'm sorry, I'm an executive board member and I'm sorry that you don't understand that.
okay, so for item number 15, I'll call the roll. Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 16 is to concur with the Trumbull County Engineer to grant the special hauling permits to haul steel coils requested by the company listed, and that company is J-Row Transportation Services, Inc.
Motion to approve?
Second,
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 17 is to concur with the county engineer to grant the right-of-way permit requested by the company listed, Pollard Land Services, Inc.
Motion to approve?
Second that.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 18 is to concur with the county engineer to grant the special annual supplier fleet permits requested by the companies listed, and those companies are John Brown Trucking, Inc. and R&J Trucking, Inc.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 19 is to approve the State of Ohio, Ohio Office of Management and Budget grant awarded to Trumbull County for the Trumbull County Engineers Hubbard Outpost Sanitary Sewer Improvements Project in Hubbard Township in an amount of $225,470. This project consists of extending sanitary sewers to service the county engineers Hubbard Outpost located on State Route 7, and to authorize Danny Malloy, President of the Board of Commissioners, to execute said agreement.
Motion to approve?
I'll second that.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 20 is to authorize Danny Malloy, President of the Board of Commissioners, to submit applications and execute contracts to the Ohio Public Works Commission in regards to year 2025, fiscal year 26, Ohio Public Works Commission funds for the Warren Sharon Road, Jacobs Road, Newton number 15, and Green number 15 bridge rehab projects for the Trumbull County Engineers Department, and to authorize Danny Malloy to act as the Chief Executive Officer, Martha Yoder, Trumbull County Auditor, to act as Chief Fiscal Officer, and Randy Smith, Trumbull County Engineer, to act as Project Manager.
Motion to approve?
Second that.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item 21 is to authorize Danny Malloy, President of the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners, to submit applications and execute contracts to the Ohio Public Works Commission in regards to year 2025, fiscal year 26, Ohio Public Works Commission funds for the TRU West Market Street Bridge Rehabilitation Project for the Trumbull County Engineers Department, and to authorize Danny Malloy to act as the Chief Executive Officer, Martha Yoder, Trumbull County Auditor, to act as Chief Fiscal Officer, and Randy Smith, Trumbull County Engineer, to act as Project Manager.
Motion to approve?
Second in discussion. Do we need to change this to just state the county engineer? Because this is for next year. It'll be someone different than Randy Smith. We don't need to change the name. Okay.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item 22 is to authorize the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners Clerk to advertise for statement of qualifications for all projects involving water and sanitary sewer construction and or treatment for program year 2025.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 23 is to receive the petition signed by owners of lots and lands situated on Williams Drive, Circle Drive, McCleary Jacoby Road, Morrow Drive, Wilmer Drive, and Wilson Sharpsville Road in Bezetta Township, requesting Trumbull County to provide for the construction and maintenance of water lines to serve said lots and lands, and to refer said petitions to the Trumbull County Sanitary Engineer for his review and recommendations.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 24 is to approve the monthly capital charge to the property owners benefited by the Heat and Shoot Sanitary Sewer Improvements Project number 5-S-13 in the amount of $22.27. This should be 27 cents. It was corrected just before the meeting. Per month for a period of 30 years in accordance with the project costs listed below. Total project cost was $3,454,066.62. The estimated capital charge presented at the public hearing on September 1st, 2022 was $34.85 per month per user.
Motion to approve?
Second that.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 25 is to accept the resignation of Mr. Scott Werner, PEPS, from his position as Assistant Sanitary Engineer with the Trumbull County Sanitary Engineers Department, effective December 2nd, 2024. Mr. Werner's resignation letter shall be recorded on the Journal for record purposes, and we wish Scott much happiness and success in his new role.
Motion to approve?
Second, in discussion. Scott was an outstanding employee for the last 2 years that I've been here. His explanations, his stardiness, his attendance, I should say. He was, always outgoing, always willing to teach me as a new commissioner about the, sanitary projects. And he will definitely be missed by the county, and we wish him definitely success in his next endeavor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I want to say something too. There are a lot of people in this county who fall into that political hack realm where they get in, they look and see who the big guy boss is or who they perceive has the most power. They kiss their butt and they treat the other ones with disrespect, like you've seen happen to me with a lot of the people in this building and throughout the county and higher positions. This man, Scott Werner, has never fallen into that. He has always treated me with such respect and so politely and so properly. I would have been disappointed to see him go when I first got here. And now that I won't be here, it's good luck, you know, but I can say he's an amazing person and just treats everyone so kindly. He's a good professional and they're lucky to have him where he's going.
Absolutely. I agree.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 26 is to approve a funds transfer to the fund as listed in the amount of $2,200,000 to fund payroll for the sheriff's office through the remainder of the year.
Motion to approve?
I'll second for discussion. Martha Yoder has,
And one thing that I was wondering is why it didn't come up with the financial items. Normally,
They declined to do it that way.
they declined to do it that way.
Yes, we tried to work with
confused.
them and they wouldn't work with us.
What?
It's not how we usually do money transfers, as you're aware, from week to week, but they put this on themselves and
Was someone else doing it? Was it because there was another person there doing it or?
We don't know the
They put it on
reasons.
the
We just know we gave them advice. Christy gave them advice and they declined to take that advice. I just want to address that they did send a breakdown and Christy and I went over it. We found that there's a couple issues with this agenda item. But the first part of it is that they're wanting it to go all into one fund, but they have it broken down into separate things that would be different funds. And the second part of it, and I'll let Christy get more into the details of that as well as what we came up with. When we came up with what we believe they need based on what we know, it is more like, and we're being generous, I think here, 1.6 million rather than 2.2 million. And so that's part of it. And I'm going to let Christy break it down more and review it. But those are our two big objections to this agenda item. If they had worked with us, we would have assisted them in figuring out exactly what they needed.
And one of the things that I have to be clear on, again, we have a process to put things on the agenda. It should not be a process where the clerk approves the agenda. It should be coming to us the right way with the boards whenever, and this is when I originally wanted to do the collaborative software to submit the agenda items, which we're finally doing. My proposal was for it to be set up in a fashion where the commissioners sort of do a DocuSign kind of thing, where we approve those items or somehow there's something that happens where there's administrative review rather than just the clerk. Because imagine had you not been here and had there just been.
Commissioners,
had there- Hey, I'm
I
talking.
did
No, wait.
consult with.
Wait, no,
the
it's not,
auditor on
again, it's not
this.
it's not the, it's not the.
But I
it's
did, I
not
did
the-
consult with the
It's
auditor.
not,
on
be
this.
quiet, it's not a clerk's meeting, it's a commissioner's board meeting. So what I'm saying is, imagine had there been people here, new commissioners, old commissioners, him and Frank or something, just stamping, and that's the problem. And that's why I still hope moving forward that there's a method to address that concern.
Before I have Christy take over, I do want to address one other things because they use the word defund with regard to the budget.
Where?
Their original within their letter, within their
Sorry.
support letter.
Is it in the, this was something that I received and that I looked at, not in the agenda item language,
Correct.
right? Okay,
Everybody received that.
okay.
They did initially request 19.9 million for 2024. That would have been 29.11% of the general fund budget. When we reviewed and went through, as we did with every single part of the general fund, when we were creating the recommended budget, we got them down to 17.2 million, which is still 6.87% of the general fund budget for 24.
Right.
Also, their actual in 2023 was 16 million. They wanted to go from 16 million to 19.9. We got them down to 17.2. We do think that what they're asking for is unreasonable. It's not right. We have done our numbers. We've run everything that we could run. And we do believe it's 1.6 is probably the most that they would need. And again, we feel like we're being generous on that based on what our review. And I'm going to let Christy go ahead and review that.
I'd like to respond and say though that this is why I'm always an advocate of having budget controls throughout the year,
And
to make
we've
sure that
done
they're
that.
on
And I'm going to
target.
tell you what, we have asked them with over budgets and things like that. We
Right.
have asked them to correct those throughout the year, and they have refused to do that. That's why we are at where we're at.
What's disgusting about this is that man ran his campaign lying.
We're not gonna slam a person.
I am
It's a
going to say
departmental
this.
thing.
I'm going to say this. He was out there
We
saying.
know you don't like him, just like you don't like all the
I
county
understand
department
that you-
heads and all the elected
that you're
officials
defending-
and all the employees.
The reality
We
is.
already know that.
He was out there telling I had people from the community, leaders across the community calling me to say, Nikki, he's saying that he's never over budget and he's under budget. And they wanted me to they didn't trust what he was saying. And this is why. I mean, I can't believe he was out there telling everyone that he was under budget. I had people, elected officials, people from across the county saying, is this true? And he wasn't. And that's what I've been saying. But this is just, my God, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Are
Yeah.
these numbers inclusive of the longevity and all the
Yeah,
collective
also-
bargaining
so
increases?
I'm going to let Christy review because he has the totals in his breakdown of what we think it should be. And based on what we're looking at, based on our looking at payroll, all of that, as you know, we're the paymaster for the county. So we have that information, and I'm going to let Christy outline it and how we got to the 1.6 million.
So for payroll, they're asking for 1.7 million, but we're looking at like $900,000 in that sheriff's 1,400 division. And we took the actual to date divided by the 23 pays and multiplied it times three more pays, and we get about $900,000. We did round up a bit because we know there's going to be an increase due to the new contract. So we can't go with just actual. So we did estimate a little bit higher. We're not arguing with the 389,000 retro. They provided a document documentation, but
Right.
we can't go through each of that, and it does seem
That was
bit
valid.
reasonable. For the longevity, they've requested 59,000, but that was actually posted the other day, and that is actually $68,590.
But it also includes the jail.
That does
as
not
well.
just Department or Division 1400, it includes Division 1415, which is the jail. We included that in our number. And then also in our estimate of the 1.6 million, we included the amount that's over budget or going to be over budget in the jail hospitalization, which is 231,000 we're estimating.
And all of that comes out to 1,588,950. And so we do feel like 1.6 will be enough based on that.
And to
I
cover
think
our budgets. Could I just maybe,
I
one
need
more
to
thing?
get something, I'm sorry, I need to
Okay.
get something out of my office because I meant to bring it out. I apologize. I'll be right back.
It's the jail contract. Yeah. That must be not inclusive of the amount that they're asking to extend the jail contract. I'm assuming.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I brought up, because I knew that it related to what was going on today. I had it with my papers, dropped it coming out my office door. So,
I don't know if
let
this
me,
makes any difference, but it's the health insurance, not like medical for the jail. This is like the employees.
Oh,
hospitalization
okay.
insurance.
I
I'm
thought
sorry,
you meant
this
the
is
contract.
payroll, I'm
Related.
sorry.
It's payroll related.
You read our
in the
contract and
budget.
I'm like, that's.
This is not related to the other
Mm-mm.
part of this, the jail doctor contract at all.
Okay.
okay,
All of what they have asked for specifically is the 2.2. They have outlined that and they've said that as payroll. And so we only looked at anything payroll to deal with this, with the over budgets.
see, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be interrupting, but there's this is something that the board resolved whenever I started because I thought it was important, updating procurement and also ahead of contracts terminating. There was an approval to review all of them 3 months prior to their anniversary date so that they could do a new RFQ or RFP so that there's to remove that auto renewal in the situation we're in now. And the sheriff did not do that pursuant to the policy that I created. And
Sheriff doesn't follow our policy.
no, actually, please understand that the Board of Commissioners are and I know you've been here
No,
long enough.
no, I'm agreeing with
The
you. but-
Board of Commissioners does all the contracting for all of the elected officials, for everyone.
Right.
That is the way that works.
We can't
So
set policy for the sheriff's
yes, we
department.
do.
No, you can't.
Relative to purchasing and contracting,
No, then that's on
We
you. We're the
absolutely-
contracting authority.
we
We should have
Contract
asked,
is with us.
we should have
done it
asked
in
3 months before,
We,
Commissioners,
you.
not the sheriff.
Commissioners, with
so anyway,
regard,
what I'm saying is their contract, I don't know if you received a copy of this, but their contract expires.
Commissioner, that has nothing to do with what we're
Has nothing
talking
to
about.
do with
It's a
it.
whole separate
can we
issue.
stay with the
That's coming
relevant
up later.
agenda item,
It's a whole
please?
separate
It
issue.
actually does.
It
because
doesn't.
It expires the first week of next month.
That's right. It has
with-
nothing to
with-
do with what we're talking about.
Please stop. I don't have the patience or crayons to explain it to you right now.
You don't have to. We already are on that.
So-
We're gonna address that later
so-
today. This is separate.
Okay,
Has
so
nothing to do with this money at all.
what I'm saying is there will be, if they continue with this proposal that came for a higher amount, a need to increase that
Right, it
appropriation
has
as
nothing to do
well.
with
This
this.
is-
It's
So
gonna.
let's
come
stay
in
on this
budget.
agenda item.
It's never
No.
been asked by the
Commissioners,
sheriff to increase that.
commissioners. So for agenda item 26, we recommend that you don't pass that today. And we recommend to the sheriff's office that they work with us to do a proper agenda item with the proper funds and the proper breakdown and the amounts that we think that it will be. And we can certainly, we know that we will, and we have no objection. We understand that, they have retro, they have all these things, but we need, and we can find the money and we need to, but we suggest that they submit that in the December
Is there-
4th agenda.
Is there enough for payroll coming up if we wait until the next meeting? Because I want to make sure that they'll be fine until our next,
We'll
okay.
work with them to do the money transfer the way that we've been doing it throughout the year. We also need to break down these payroll costs into the specific object codes, not just 50-51-20, which is wages only. There's also 50-51 a 50, 51, 51, which is PRS, which is going to be
That's included.
hit, 50, 51, 56, which is Medicare, and 50, 51, 57, which is hospitalization. It can't just all go in this one, what you guys call fund
Well,
or call account.
If anybody is on the line from the sheriff's department, please get with the auditor's office so we can square this away.
And
And
we're willing to
get this
work with
done.
them. We've worked with them all the way through.
We don't have a meeting until when? When
The
is that?
4th.
That's why I'm trying to make sure that we'll still, you'll be
We'll be
okay?
good.
They'll be able to be paid? Okay.
We'll be-
Recommendation to that, I was the one that made the recommendation that was to come to the commissioners first at a workshop, get, and present the stuff and documentation, and then kind of get an idea, and then we could put it on the normal way, but it kind of got misconstrued.
It should be put on
So,
the
correct.
correct way, but.
But we're willing to work with them. We want to make sure that it gets done. We don't want anybody not to get paid, of course.
My
Um,
question is, are they able to respond now? Would that cure any of this in order?
I
to
think
clear-
I think it needs to be, it's much more complicated than just trying to
Than
do a measure
passing
from
it,
the
okay.
floor. We would need to, we didn't get the breakdown until yesterday afternoon.
That's
And so
Unacceptable.
Christy and I spent early this morning going over it, and Christy did a lot of the work, but we both went over it. And
Thank you.
we do want to say that I know you've got to dispose with 26, 27 before you ask. We're fine with that. We
Okay, that
understand
too.
that was completely appropriate. That's
The
the,
dollar amount, but we still might want to put it in.
is that the fund a
Mhm.
problem? I'm
Just
sorry.
The budgetary
table
part.
both.
Okay.
The dollar amount on.
We're okay
27,
with the
but we still
dollar
need it
amount.
To go through.
It really shouldn't.
Do you want to recommend a change so we can make the motion with the correct number?
Can you do that?
I think we can.
I mean, can you recommend the change to that? To amend
And
this
then we
one?
could just read
Like
it
when we
that
get to
way.
27, or do you need more time to do that?
I don't understand.
So because it's not, this part is not correct. Can you recommend a change to the agenda item so they can pass it today?
That account is probably correct. It's just that it usually goes through the budgetary program, like you talked about with the money transfer and then appropriating at the same.
Okay.
Well, let's
time.
just table all of it and then we can revisit it
And
on
is
the
that
floor.
going to adversely affect anyone?
No.
Does anyone say, okay,
It's a uniform allowance.
yeah, I just wondered if there's.
They'll get their
any-
uniform
Okay.
allowance.
To approve those.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table for number 26. Is
What was
someone
the
wanna
motion?
retract
Can
the
someone-
motion?
I'll rescind that motion.
Okay, we have a new motion.
I'll make a motion to table agenda item number 26.
Second,
it. Mr. Frenchco, second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
And I'll also make a motion to table agenda item number 27 to transfer funds to fund number
No,
as
actually,
listed.
let me go back and, I'm sorry, let's do this correctly. I'm sorry to interrupt. I think we need to go back and rather than tabling them, we need to let them be, vote no on them, and then they can come back and do them correctly next time. That would yeah.
Okay,
I do too, because then we'd have to
Okay.
take them
That'll
off the
be
table.
lingering.
It's more work for
Right.
the clerk.
okay.
Okay, so for item 26,
Go
Mr.
back to the original
Right,
motion,
Mr.
which was
Cantala
made by
Mesa.
him.
I'll
seconded.
rescind that motion of tabling agenda item number 26.
I'll second that.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes. And
Okay,
then,
so for item 26, the original.
Right.
Move in second, Mr. Cantala Mesa,
no,
No.
I mean,
Mr. Malloy,
No.
Ms. Frenchco.
No.
And I'll read item 27. To transfer funds to the fund listed in the amount of $16,375 to cover the commissioner approved increase in the collective bargaining agreement for uniform allowance.
Motion to approve.
oh, second.
Wait,
Or no, motion to.
Well, motion to move forward.
To deny. Yeah,
Doesn't matter because your vote is what matters.
correct.
oh, yeah.
Okay, so
You're
Mr.
right.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
No.
Ms. Frenchco.
No.
Mr. Malloy.
No. Okay, so for the record then, we didn't pass these. We're asking the sheriff or his staff to get with the auditor. She'll work with them, redo it so that the next meeting we have, we can put these on properly. We do want to pay everything that's due to be paid, but we want the numbers to be correct with the correct funds. That's all we're asking
Discussed.
is that to be done that way.
Item number 28 is to receive and place on file the August and September 2024 monthly financial report for the Trumbull County Tourism Bureau.
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 29 is to authorize Danny Malloy, President of the Board, to execute on behalf of Trumbull County the 2025 Marine Patrol Assistance Agreement with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, acting through its Division of Parks and Watercraft for the purpose of establishing and/or maintaining and operating a marine patrol program to enforce the watercraft laws of Ohio as set forth in chapters 1547 and 1548 of the Ohio Revised Code, and to enforce those regulations, rules, and ordinances promulgated by state and local authorities that pertain to the operation of watercraft and to provide emergency response to boating accidents on the water. The agreement is a necessary requirement in order to obtain the 2025 Marine Patrol Assistance Grant applied for by the Trumbull County Sheriff's Office. The estimated cost of the program is not to exceed $32,876.43. The state of Ohio will agree to pay up to $24,657.32, and the local share is not to exceed $8,219.11.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to table this agenda item.
We can't. There's a deadline of the 1st of December that this has to be in or we lose the grant.
I believe the deadline is December 15th, but we don't even have a copy. The reason for this, and if
We
we
do
have,
have a copy.
Yes.
if we,
We do have a copy of it. I
Who's-
did review the copy and look at it.
Where's the
And that's why I
copy?
said we need to
It
do
was
this
sent
now.
with the draft on Monday.
no, there's a front page is what I saw. There was not the actual entire grant.
If we don't
application.
pass this today, we jeopardize losing the grant for the new sheriff and the sheriff's
No, it's
department for
not-
next summer.
it's not-
It's a grant we do every year. It's a
Until
standard
the
thing. We need to
15th.
fill it out. There's no harm in doing this thing now.
There's no copy of it. I question whether or not it was even completed yet. It said that it was due on the 15th. I just got done reading it yesterday. It's not due by the 1st. It's due by the 15th.
I saw the first on the copy that I looked at. And then to
Would
be
we like
be
to
awarded on
put
the
out our-
15th.
No,
Well, who has a copy of it?
it's in your email. Go grab your computer and hook it up. Do you? Okay,
Martha, what's it say? It
Right.
is?
I know what I'm talking about. I
Okay, and
can
what is the
read
harm
and
of not
prepare.
passing it now? What more information do you want?
Because we
It's a
don't-
grant.
We don't have a copy of the grant. We're approving an application that we don't even know if it exists and we haven't read it. So the writing and the verbiage in here, we don't even know. We haven't reviewed it. The Board of Commissioners should not be voting on things that do not exist, that we have not read. That's just common management.
I
So
did say
that-
that earlier with the energy contract. I agree.
Okay. Would you like to table it?
Yes, I want to table it so that we can have an opportunity to actually have a copy of the grant application to review it.
Is that your motion? I'll second it.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Item number 30 is to authorize Danny Malloy, President of the Board of Commissioners, to execute on behalf of Trumbull County the acceptance form for the 37th renewal of the Victims of Crime Act and the State Victim Assistance Act Grant Award, an acceptance form for the Trumbull County Victim/Witness Division of the Trumbull County Prosecutor's Office. The Ohio Attorney General's Office has awarded Trumbull County $75,972 in VOCA and SVAA money. The county's cash match is $16,644. The grant is for the period of October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2025. And the special note, at such time as Trumbull County does not receive funding by the Attorney General's Office for these grants, the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners has no obligation to fund this program.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Who wrote this? Because I didn't get a copy of the agenda item written. I got a letter about the agenda item. I just wondered, if someone actually wrote it and sent it over, or if it appears as if our clerk just prepared it for them.
This is how it's been put on historically.
Historically, yeah.
Yes.
So you prepared the language. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yeah, and I think it's noteworthy that the clerk prepares agenda items
For an
those-
outside
for those
agency, for an
who
outside.
aren't even, even the prosecutor's office, who would be able to send it over written correctly on
They
themselves.
review, which
but-
they review when I
and-
send the
and-
draft to them to
And
review.
I'm talking, and will not prepare things for me. So that's the pettiness and the
I shouldn't
ineptitude
have
and
to prepare things for
insubordination.
you.
What?
What is your vote, please, for item 30?
She just said she shouldn't have to prepare things for me. It's yes. Hope everyone noticed that. She's every bit of ignorant.
Okay. Item number 31 is to authorize the purchase of a new morgue cooler from Moby Supply LLC, doing business as Moby Medical Manufacturing, for use by the Trumbull County Coroner's Office in the total amount of $28,258, utilizing the fund listed, and to appropriate accordingly.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
We also have a procurement policy that requires 3 quotes, or at least an effort to obtain other amounts. And before anything is placed on the agenda, that should be verified. It appears this was just verified without any other information to confirm that happened.
I talked to-
Did the clerk keep that?
I
from-
talked to the
Hang
coroner
on.
on this
Did the
when I
clerk-
was notified by the
It
state.
appears that the clerk kept those other quotes from us, or they didn't exist. And if they don't exist, then we need to make sure that they don't go on until we have that information to compare. And I'm going to further say that I did my own looking into the dollar amount here, and the paperwork that was sent to us, at first it shouldn't hit without making sure that they did get quotes, or at least something documenting that they reached out and someone didn't respond, or something to that effect. And it says, it said it was $28,000 and like 18 something for a delivery fee. And if you look online, their deliveries are free. The amount if you look online for this, it doesn't have the extra doors, like it doesn't have to necessarily be customized necessarily, but it's $17,000 with free delivery for pretty much the same thing, and there's no additional quotes. So I see a problem with that.
I see no problem with this. They found a place in Texas. The only place that can deliver us one within 7 weeks is when we're gonna lose our cooler. We got dead bodies in the cooler right now,
Right.
5 of them. And the state is coming to get their coolers by January 15th.
We don't know that's the.
We do
only-
know that that's the case,
That that's the case.
and we
We're-
checked with the Ohio Department of Health to make sure,
Oh,
to see if
no,
we can get an
don't-
extension.
We don't know that. So there was MOPEC, DAI, Moby, there are other organizations and those who sell that type of equipment.
And
and-
they can get it to us within 7 weeks?
But the point is, you need to make sure that you have proper records that show that you tried to get 3 quotes, and the reason why you chose one over the other. None of this is documented, and it appears that
On a $28,000 person.
it appears at a cursory glance that, well, $10,000 difference between what's listed online and what's on the agenda could be.
You want to go
going
buy a
somewhere.
body
So-
cooler for a morgue on Amazon, or what are you
Sorry,
shopping?
it's
What,
the
you're looking
exact-
online?
It's the exact same thing from the same company. I did a quick search. It said, I looked up Moby Supply LLC, and I looked up the exact same item.
I thought you said it
that-
had a different door.
It had, I looked it up and online, it had the exact same item. I'm sure that it says that he customized it, which goes to my original point that everything has to be bells and whistles for
No,
this
probably
guy.
needed a lift
So,
so they can lift the body to
no,
the top
It-
shelf.
It didn't. It actually was customized to add 3 extra doors, but they have a model that it can be delivered for free. The exact same thing. I looked at the quote. Obviously, you guys don't read your emails or prepare for these meetings, but I read I read the quote, looked up the company, saw it online, and they in fact had this same thing without being customized for 7 and free delivery for $10,000 less. I'm sorry. If you want to spend that extra time.
I don't
why
disagree that
shouldn't
you
I
read it, but I think you
Okay.
read it with a twisted mind on how can I screw this guy?
Right.
Let me find a way to come and make him look bad. Let me dig deeper. Where we look at it from a professional opinion of
From a rubber
the coroner
stamp opinion.
says this is, he needs the cooler. We know he's going to be able to take it to the new facility. We know we need a cooler. We know there are bodies in there that are going to be in need of
Document the
Uh,
file to show why you're spending an extra $10,000 and why you haven't obtained 3 quotes. Because online, it clearly appears and anyone can go and search us up online and see that this is $10,000 less with free delivery from the same business if you look it up online. So
So you think he's just going
Go
to throw free money at him? They're just going to take it. He's just going to pay extra
I
for no
don't-
reason.
for customization, which is, again, when we're spending tax money, we should be spending it for the basic need, not.
Well, we should be
We
giving our,
could have got a nameplate on the front and we could have wrote it in marker and stuck a piece of paper up there and saved the $80 for your nameplate.
You're silly. and
There's the
petty.
cost
Okay,
of
call
doing
the
business.
question. Call the question. You guys want a rubber stamp and always spend more money. It's
It's
not
the
coming
co-
out of your pockets, so you don't care.
it's the cost of giving them the resources they need to do their jobs.
And they
That's
can-
what it is.
they can
You're gonna
Yeah,
handpick
that's it. You're
guns
not-
now for the sheriff's department. You're gonna handpick what
How
type
many
of
days
bullets
have
they
you been in the
use.
coroner's office? Do you know that they need that?
This
You have
is,
no experience whatsoever, but you want to add coroner over your
stupid?
experience too.
look, you could actually look online at this exact, someone do it. Someone get out your phones and Google this and you'll see that it's $10,000
gotta play
less
this.
online right now.
Ridiculous.
Free delivery.
Item
Got the
31.
It's
stupidity.
not.
For item
It's-
31,
it's
Mr.
stupid
Cantala
shit with
Mesa,
tax money.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes,
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Only because the exact item listed on the agenda is $10,000 less with free delivery right now online. No.
Okay, that concludes the agenda items for the business today. We'll open up for the good of Trumbull County. Before I do, one thing I'd like to do, Auditor Yoder, is I would like to ask a consensus of the board. We shot down the steps today. We voted no. That's $350,000 in ARPA. I know we're under the gun for ARPA monies to be spent by the end of the year. We had 2 ambulances pending in ball fields. I would like to get approval from Commissioner to move forward on those ones that we had kind of on the bubble when we had our last meeting. Now that we have this extra money, we need to appropriate.
I would want to know what the other items are as opposed to just doing the ones that he says.
let's keep in mind that that the law library is our building and our asset. And if we don't keep it up, that's on us.
No, thank you. I appreciate you giving me the microphone. I'm still a little dizzy from my neuritis. Yeah. So we've been as you know, all of us have been working on this, ARPA, making sure everything's obligated before the end of the year. And I did want to share with you just a little bit more information so you have it. So there was an ARPA resolution adopted for the stairs back in 2023, where you have already encumbered $23,850 for the professional engineering services associated with that for the law library stairs. And the dollar amount in the on the agenda today is just to obligate the funds. And to be clear, if the commissioners do want to see the law library steps completed, constructed, that dollar amount, if it is under an MOU, if it costs less than that after we go out for competitive bidding, then that dollar amount can then be transferred to other projects. So that's why I wanted to clarify that this is an ARPA resolution for construction. It's it's just a dollar amount. And I don't know what your plans are, if you would like for those stairs to be fixed, to see it at a lesser amount. But it is a Carnegie Law Library. There are less than 1,000 in the United States. The cost of improving those types of historic structures do cost a little bit more. And I believe Martha shared with you the technical specs that were already done. So I did want to share that. Thank you.
About Bill. Bill, do you have anything to add on that, or? Somebody said the prosecutor's office? Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I didn't know. I thought you meant Bill Danza.
On what? I'm sorry.
I didn't know if there was anything else. I thought you said Bill was gonna add something too. I didn't
Can't
know.
even, I can't read.
I mean,
This
as far
is,
as what's
this
gonna
is
go off
too small to
construction,
see.
that's, we're ready.
Oh, name and title.
I can't read this on the side. Is there a way that I can have this? I mean, even with my
I can
glasses.
get an
I can't
email,
read it.
if you'd like to read it on the email, Bill Hart, Trumbull County Maintenance. Yeah, if you wanted to email, Commissioner.
I'd like to, can I see the side, can I see it enlarged and paper today? Yeah,
I
Okay.
can ask the clerk to throw it on 11 by, whatever paper,
I don't even know if that's.
17.
Can't see any of this.
If not, I'll have to go down to tax map and have them do it on their. I don't know. Chrissy has it on her.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to see it?
But
bigger?
that's just the construction of the stairs.
Yep,
No way.
I can.
This big.
Well, that
Yeah.
gives you the specifications with the blueprint. So that's the blueprint of the stairs.
No, I'm talking about the written portion.
That's it, Stroll architect and. the engineering-
Exactly. It doesn't,
yeah.
the plan, I can see plan,
That's what we-
keynotes, general notes, plan, keynotes, demolition, general notes, but alls I can see is the header. I can't see anything
And that's
like this is,
Yeah, that's part of going out for the construction stage of that, so.
yeah. I'd like to be able
If
to.
that goes forward, then of course there'll be a full-size blueprint made of that. So the contractors.
Again, reviewing things in advance of, I just think it's proper to review things in advance of voting for them, and if you.
We voted on the architect, on the drawings.
In the beginning,
Yeah.
2 years
I
ago.
can read that. I get
It was
that.
voted on 2
We
years
voted
ago,
on this.
and now we're getting to light, so this is where we're at with the stairs, and hopefully with knock on wood, they
I
don't
didn't-
run
I
into
didn't
structural
think I
damage
needed to know.
underneath the pillar columns, and that's what we don't know what's underneath those. Without tearing open the face of those stairs. So I could add.
I mean, at some point, those stairs need to get done. I mean, that's our building, our asset. And, it's part of the, when you come downtown, that's one of the buildings that really showcases the downtown area. So
No one has, and while you have consistently been a person to stop people from treating me as an equal member of the Board of Commissioners by telling them not to.
who
do
has
anything
stopped
or
anybody?
talk to me or come to me for approval, and they go to the.
I
the
respectfully
gentleman-
You do that on your
disagree.
own
I
free will.
respectfully
and they go to
disagree.
the gentleman on the board. Now you might need my vote for something, and no one has approached me, brought me information,
You
or.
voted on this. You voted on this a year ago.
Okay,
You want to proceed or not proceed? Hey, it's just a Trumbull County asset at the end of the day. mean,
I believe,
it's
I
gonna
believe we need to
done.
proceed, but I still think initially
this,
it was 700,000, then it went down. Now it's at 350.
this was.
We're talking cement and metal. We're talking metal rods and cement for $350,000.
6/24. So when you're saying it was a year ago, evidently this was done.
We
You voted on it
we
before
voted on
they did
to-
the
to
work.
Do the work.
I don't see it, but no one is.
So
Given me anything.
that's where I am on
No
it.
one's
We
communicated
could
with
just
me
go
about
back
this.
and forth all day, but I think we need to take care of our asset at the end of the day.
I believe so too. I just think the price is extremely high and I would like to rebid it or do something to see if we can.
Well, something bid.
Kidding, you don't understand, it's oh, okay, thank you. Oh, yeah, I did vote no. And maybe it's because I voted no that no one decided to share what the plans were moving forward, but.
Or did you ask?
Right. And if you need someone's approval to do that, usually there's like some level of communication, but sorry. Now we put it on the agenda without even.
Can I see
giving-
that? please?
Yeah, we put it on the agenda without even the Board of Commissioners seeing anything in detail. Is it really? Thank you.
A little better.
Okay, thanks. This is a little. This is so.
The reason it's on the agenda today, commissioners, is to obligate the funds to meet the ARPA deadline. The dollar amount, as I mentioned, can be changed.
Right.
If that's information that's helpful to you. So
And this would be a question.
we're not bidding it out yet, Commissioner.
That's not what I said, but go ahead and just keep talking.
No, no, no. No, seriously, I'm not trying to be contrary.
Seems like.
No, I'm not. Go ahead. What were you gonna ask?
But if it's appropriated or allocated for this.
Yeah.
And it's not spent, then it would need to be spent on something else.
Correct.
Relatively quickly and appropriated for
N-
that.
Well, no, that's what the MOU is for. Sorry.
Martha Yoder, County Auditor.
The MOU obligates the funds. If they're not spent, then they can be spent on another approved project. So if we go into 2025 and we've got several of these that we've done MOUs on, and we have residual funds, they can be applied to other projects that have been approved, and we have a number of those that could use more money, particularly our sanitary projects. So the money.
But once, so this is,
It won't go
this will be committed, it just, yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I disagree with the project necessarily and the cost, but I do understand.
We don't even know the cost. We haven't bid it out yet. Could be
Right.
much lower than that.
Have the ability at this point to, that's time consuming and cost money to bid it out.
Well-
But at least it'll be preserved and safe so that it doesn't have to be returned. I mean, we could do it and put it tag it with another project in December, but either way, it could still be spent on something else.
Yes.
I don't know if the board has gotten phone calls, but I have about the steps, about, a couple of attorneys have called.
If they're gonna do that, if they're going to fix the steps so that you can go inside and out of the building, then you should be able to enter and use the front door. I'm telling you that you've not been able to use that front door for so long, and if they want that, they should make it accessible, at least minimally, to the public from those steps. Not just to be pretty. If they want it to be sound and functional, even back when it wasn't so bad, you weren't able to use those front steps. So if you're gonna spend it, one thing that they should do is commit to allowing use through that door.
Commissioner,
Because
if I
you'll see
may,
the side door.
Julie Green, Trumbull County. It is a county-owned building. I believe that's under your authority to make those decisions.
Unless there is a reason structurally why they're not using that. And I don't know that. Which would entail more county dollars, obviously. So it's the board's pleasure. I'd like to move forward with the project. It's a county asset. It's downtown. As Julie mentioned, whenever you talk about the courthouse or any of these historical type buildings, it's not going to be cheap. But unfortunately, when people come into the downtown area, they see that. And, this goes into the ongoing effort of trying to revitalize and do our part in the downtown area. And I think this is a small step that we can take. I voted yes on it anyway. I'll remake that motion if that's okay.
For the record, his personal attorney is on the board there, so I understand that. But I will second that. It's true. I will.
It's not my personal attorney.
Yeah, you said it.
Probably just about every attorney is involved in that.
There is an event.
So does that mean the step shouldn't get done?
If you don't wanna, you don't want my
Well,
second, then you can be an ass.
I'm just asking you, is that a reason to vote no?
Okay, Mr. Cantala Mesa.
I know,
Yes.
I didn't make
Ms.
it, that
Frenchco?
wasn't seconded.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a motion.
Maybe
To move
at the
forward
end-
with it?
At the end of the meeting, if the meeting goes smoothly, we'll.
I'll second it. Oh, to appropriate the
Okay.
funds.
Okay.
Although I am against that price, I will not vote in the future for that price.
That's
But
fair.
I will
That's fair.
lock the funds in, and that way we don't lose the funds.
But I believe that it's based on the design that's already been architected.
Which has already been paid for.
No. It's based on the design that's already been, the architecture that's already been designed and that plan. So it could be that this plan and the way they've designed addressing it is going to be that expensive, and there may be other ways to design it or to architect it that might be less. So it's the plan, really.
So we have a motion and a second. I guess call the roll.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Only because it's going to preserve the money for future use and it can be transferred. And though I disagree with the cost as well, yes.
Okay. Okay, next order of business.
Karen Taylor, Accounts Payable Clerk for Trumbull County Commissioner's Office. I'm here to discuss the Marine Patrol Grant. That's a grant by the state. ODNR gives us money to patrol that lake. Our cost is less than $8,500 for the entire year for patrolling that lake. Now, why in the world would we do that? And Ms. Frenchco, you did vote no last year as well. I have it right here. So you're just holding up progress here. They need to have this in place. They need to sign the documents. It is,
The deadline is the 15th, and there's no reason to wait to give us an opportunity to review it. There's literally.
it's.
Do you think there's an
literally
elaborate
every-
scheme by ODNR to try to fleece us of this money?
It doesn't, we still need, it's just good stewardship to make, and.
There's literally inset
It's
agreement.
literally
There is
yearly.
literally hours
But whatever,
that
that's fine.
patrolmen, they have to patrol. There's literally things that they
Wait,
have to
no
abide
one is
by
saying-
to
no-
get this grant every year. And we have done that and we
Right.
continue to do it.
No one is disagreeing with that. All I'm saying is that the Board of Commissioners.
It's
should see-
unnecessary. You're wasting time.
Should see what we're voting on.
You are wasting time. I can show you everything you need to vote on it. I think it's ridiculous that you're just gonna turn down. It's the same every year.
That you voted on.
Great.
Well, she
and the-
voted no.
The
She
reason,
doesn't believe in getting
No.
money from the state to assist
no,
Trumbull County in patrolling the lake.
you could sit down and go back to work. The reason for
No.
voting no on things or abstaining is because they are not providing
Because you're an
me with
obstructionist.
what I need in order to make a decision. I would
Copy
like-
the application.
I have all this, I have everything even from last year. I keep everything.
If you can,
It's all,
New
it's all in the
application.
computer.
The new application.
It's the
the
same
new
thing.
Same things.
The new
The
app-
dates are changed.
It's the same thing.
There
They
is
have
no,
to,
I would
they
like
have
to
to
see.
comply. Well, we will get you a
Right.
copy of that. You voted no anyway last year, so
done
what
it.
is the point?
We've done this before.
It's just to waste
where-
a few more weeks in your last weeks of employment here. That's what's up. You hate the coroner. You
Okay.
hate the sheriff, so everything that.
Go
we're trying
back to work,
do-
Shara.
Everything that we're trying to do, you are just
Okay.
obstructing progress.
I agree. I think we need to pass this thing. I don't want to wait.
I'm fine with
This
it.
could be
I'm fine
decided
with
the
it.
Next meeting.
That's right.
There could be something. We missed that deadline. Shame
Yeah.
on us.
Well, that deadline is also needed in order.
Till last minute.
It's all, it's.
Okay, let's go back to item 29.
Wait, we're not going to have a problem with the next meeting because we definitely have to have it to make sure that our sheriff's department is getting paid and that is corrected. There will be a meeting before December 15th, and there is no
Why
current,
wait?
there
Why
is
wait?
there is no current
Valid
application.
reason to wait.
Can you bring the application?
It's the
Where
same
is it? If you're saying,
application.
where is it?
Everything has been submitted.
All right, item number
just
29.
think-
I'm gonna make a motion to remove item number
Have you
29
seen-
from the table.
Have you seen it?
I'll second it.
I
These
was
are
in sheriff's
just
office. I did see it in the sheriff's office.
No, you didn't.
She's the one that brought it up that, hey, we got this deadline coming up.
You don't have the
Okay,
new
remove from table.
Move from
Chris
table
Bell-
number 29.
Mr. Malloy,
things.
to remove from
It's a
table.
grant.
This.
It is a grant.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor to remove. it from
I
the table.
second it. I second it.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Because I haven't seen anything about this item and it doesn't,
Clarify because you didn't
doesn't-
ask
it
in
doesn't
advance to see
exist.
anything.
no,
It's annual.
when agenda items are submitted to be on the agenda, we are to have a copy of the application of the agreement of supporting documentation. It is a failure on behalf of our clerk to put something on the agenda that didn't exist and on
Exists every
behalf of
Every
the
year.
I
board of
submitted what I
commissioners.
was given.
There's
It's
nothing.
the same every year.
There, and it's a failure of the Board of Commissioners to continue to vote on things that they haven't seen. It's
It's a
just
grant.
proper.
Grant.
Grant.
Right.
Grant.
Yep.
It's a grant.
Okay, so I'll make a motion.
You know what? We were
To-
sent a picture of people on a boat that said deadline December 15th. That is all we have, and that's all we were sent to vote on. That is true.
That's,
So
that's.
it'd just be nice to
So-
see these things.
Is there a motion? I'll make a motion to approve agenda item
Even voted
29 now.
I'll second that motion.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Because I haven't seen it, it doesn't exist, and all we got was a cover page for the application with a picture of people and the grant deadline of December 15th, and we have enough time to actually review what we vote on. I'm going to abstain.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, Auditor Yoder.
Martha Yoder, Trumbull County Auditor. I just wanted to give a little bit of a report on where we're at with the ARPA grant funds. And the requests that have been made and sent on. The still pending with Attorney Rogers are the modified community family outreach requests for 41,991. The MECA request for 170,000 for Child Care Center, Lordstown Village Water Booster for 200,000, and the Warren Amateur Radio Association, which I didn't put the amount on it, but it's about 6,000. Eligible requests that will be on December 4th agenda are the Weatherfield Township. Now, Weathersfield Township had requested for a different project. It was found ineligible due to trying to expedite things. Attorney Rogers worked directly with them to find a project and to utilize the funds that you had set aside at that maybe meeting that we had. So that has been approved, and the Warren Township.
And I
ambulance-
would just stop you there. I would officially like to move forward. We did get submitted a copy from Mr. Rowan and from Tanya Rogers, the replacement of the township green space.
I agree.
Okay.
Right. Well, that will be on the agenda.
Okay.
She's already prepared. I got it last night.
Which one was that?
Weathersfield Township
Weathersfield
green
Township.
space.
They,
Put on?
that's the maybe list. I'll address that in a moment. The Weathersfield Township Green Space that they originally it was for the multi-jurisdictional center was what they had applied for. You guys had, I think, 150,000 allotted towards that. It's either 150 or 200. I can't remember. And so she sort of changed that out to green space when she worked with them. So we have the resolution, all that, but it came in last night. So it will be on the December 4th. I'll prepare those, both the Warren Township ambulance and that for, to be officially voted on at that meeting. Road project statuses, these are the road projects that are done through the county engineer's office using revenue loss. Farmington's is ready, the agreement is done, and it will be on the agenda on 12/4/2024. Mespo's is $170,000. They are still working on that agreement. I hope to have that on the agenda, so those funds are obligated with those agreements. We will also have MOUs and other resolutions for county projects. We should, I believe, Julie will have those done so that we'll have everything buttoned up on the 4th. At least for the county projects. There was a completed project, the family court boiler, which was completed with $5,050.90 left over. And so I've allowed for that on the bottom line with what you have. So what is available now? What had been available after that meeting, based on everything, if everything went through, was 171,178.06. And then adding the 50/50/90, it's 176,000. I have 688 and it should be 128 and I don't know what I did. It is 128. That's the correct amount. I apologize. So it's a little bit less. It's 550 less. I think I entered something wrong on my spreadsheet. I apologize. I was doing this very quickly before we got here today because all of this was last minute stuff. Of that, I'm sorry, correct your sheets to be 176, 128.96. And you have, after that meeting, so this sheet that I gave you contains all the maybes that we had. And the ones in gray are the ones that the 3 of you, or the 2 of you, I apologize, were indicated you would want to look at later. Do you wish to look at those now and have me, at least one of them?
McDonald, Vienna, and West Farmington Village.
Correct. West Farmington Village, and all of these projects that are on here are on the Commissioner Drive. And I gave you those I sent you those file paths, so you should be able to see them.
And we do have 176, we know for sure that we can spend.
Ambulances are very questionable whether or not they're eligible because it's based on.
They've all been eligible, every one of them, 9 of them. Which one has nine?
Actually, all of them have been found eligible now at this point.
But it's questionable whether or not they're going to be eligible because you have to look at statistics and you have to look at runs and to see if there was an.
And they've all been eligible so far, every one of them.
Stop interrupting me. It's enough. So those are questionable because there's a lot of verification in order to do those. But whenever it relates to a project that's green space and outdoors, park projects are absolutely eligible. So when I'm looking at the gray ones, one of them says ball field rehabilitation, that's outdoor activity, the same as all the other communities, Kinsman,
Right.
Liberty. That one we know is going to be eligible.
And that will take a lot less time for Tanya to approve if we approve that in December.
Which is why I would like to I want to move forward on that.
Sure. So that sounds like it's a consensus.
No,
No.
I would rather move forward on the
All right.
ambulance right now for McDonald Village, which would expend what we have when we have leftover money. The other one is a lot smaller and it will be a lot quicker for Tanya. She just said it'll be approved. So that one Tanya can approve in the end of December. She's going to need time to do the McDonald ambulance to get the data and the facts, which will require weeks maybe for her to do that. So I'd rather move forward with that one first.
I concur.
Excuse me, Julie Green, sorry. You mentioned she would have it approved by the end of December. We have to have the MOU and the resolution approved before the end of the year.
I understand that.
Just
These are
wanted
not
to
the
make
bonuses,
sure.
They're awards, just.
Well, either
we
way.
have to have the
That's what I'm
resolution.
saying. I would want Tanya to get started on the ambulance now because it's going to take her more time rather than the one we know is going to be a slam dunk that she could just
So-
pick up. That depletes the money. We don't have the money for all of them.
Why don't we send them all to her?
I was going to suggest actually either all or more than the one.
No sense.
It does cost money to have her review them, but at this point, in the interest of expediting things,
Right.
she is very far in on all of these others that are there that I have listed. So she could do that. The agreement for MESPO is the only other thing outstanding. And at this point, those agreements are almost boilerplate. They're walking back and forth between say walking, but back and forth between Jason and, I'm sorry, Attorney Toth and Attorney Rogers. And they're pretty much, once they've get them, they get once Attorney Toth gets the okay from both entities to, and I think that's actually the holdup on Masspell right now is I don't think he has it. So I'm fine with sending those and then you guys making a decision which ones you actually want to do.
Yeah,
All right.
I would rather do them all just in the interest of time and
All right.
the deadline.
All being which ones?
The three, the ball field rehab and the 2 ambulances, we can just send for her to go ahead and see which ones are eligible. And
I
if
would do that too, but right away, I can tell you, I would modify Vienna's not to 286,000 for an ambulance. I would
Right.
modify that to
Wait,
175.
the eligibility doesn't necessarily have to take into consideration the amount. That's only really when there's a revenue loss project that you have to worry about with an entity like the nonprofit entities where we did revenue loss. They have to prove how much they've lost. What at this point that you can modify the amounts. If she finds it eligible, you can modify the amounts. We've done that.
Okay.
So,
You got a consensus for that?
all right. All right, then I will do that. And I apologize for the mistake on the bottom line. I don't know how it happened.
Material.
Okay, anybody else?
Material mistake is not a big deal. I don't care.
Sean Shook, Trumbull County resident. As usual, this regular commissioners meeting turned into a dysfunctional workshop full of bickering, just like it always does. But anyway, last week at the regular commissioners meeting, I addressed why the workshop from that week hadn't been posted. And Commissioner Malloy, I believe you said some things that weren't accurate. And soon to be former Commissioner Frenchco backed you up when you said it.
No, I didn't.
Oh, yes, you did. Go
No.
listen to the tape.
I just want to say.
I'm speaking. I don't want to hear from you right now. I'm speaking. Thank you. You stated that workshops and stuff that doesn't have quorum doesn't get posted or streamed.
Correct. That was just a meeting. It was
That's-
not an official meeting.
That's not accurate. Many workshops that haven't had full quorums for the whole meeting have been posted, and workshops that never had a quorum to begin with also got streamed and posted.
Well, they could have. It's our option if we want to or not. They don't have to be. It's not a public meeting. It was
This-
me meeting with department heads.
This is a recording. It was advertised as a public meeting. This is a recording from workshop 12/12/23. Not only, well, anybody who couldn't hear that, you can pull it up online on 12/12/23. Commissioner Malloy, not only was that meeting published, it was put out, it was posted. In the meeting, you encouraged people, the public, to view it, and you encouraged the 2 commissioners that weren't present to creep on you.
There must have been something there that I wanted them
So-
to know about.
But again, in public meetings, county business is discussed. And a public meeting that's been addressed to the public shows up, the public participates, county business is being discussed. It's my belief that that meeting should be streamed and posted regardless. If you guys need to take a vote on that moving forward, whatever that may be. I'm just saying, you stated that what I was stating was inaccurate and I stated everything correct. You stated that IT made a mistake in even streaming that meeting.
Correct.
I don't believe they made a mistake.
They did. They were told not to, and they did.
Well, that's because they did what they always do. Again, the proof is right here. Pull up the workshop from 12.
Right, but there is no policy or procedure, no law that says we have to post
The
anything.
point is, you said I was inaccurate, that meetings don't get posted without quorums, and you were not accurate.
Well, I was accurate. It was not a quorum meeting. It was not an official workshop. So what we designated at the beginning of the year, that our workshops are this time in
No.
this place, that was not true. We had no quorum. So when I discussed there, the workshop was not there, and it turned into. a
He's sitting
department.
over there shaking his head. He knows I'm
When
right.
he's done with his public comment,
Go ahead,
Oh.
go ahead, address it.
um,
It's no different than meeting with anyone one-on-one.
In absence of a quorum, there is no public meeting.
Correct.
And there should be no upload of anything unless there's a quorum. No, there should not be, because it's not a public meeting, because then you're going to allow, one particular elected official to use the county's IT and platform for personal agendas potentially. It's only to be used for transparency of a quorum when a quorum meets. So if any of that happened in the past, I certainly would not approve of it, because I believe that only when you have a quorum should all of that be.
But you had no
Available
problem being
to
on the
the public.
phone listening to it, but you didn't want to publish, but you listened anyway.
And you could make, anyone is able to make a public records request of those things. So just because it wasn't uploaded doesn't mean that it's not available to the public, because if a record was created from it and it was recorded, then you could request that because it becomes a public record.
I'm sorry, I need another minute. So Commissioner Frenchco, let me get this right. Sean Shook, Trumbull County resident. You would prefer that, how many residents live in Trumbull County? About 200,000? Is that right?
Correct.
So you would prefer that thousands and thousands of residents in Trumbull County file public records requests, tying up the office to fulfill those requests, instead of simply posting a public meeting that was advertised to the public. The public came, the public
Didn't happen.
participated.
It was not no public meeting exists. There is no public meeting unless there is a quorum, period. That's the way it is. And if anyone made a mistake prior to that
No,
by
it might
doing
not be an
that,
official
that's
meeting,
fine.
but it's still a public
It is
meeting.
not a
You
public
can't change
meeting.
that.
It would be like me meeting with Bill Hart in my office, or me meeting with
No, it wouldn't.
Bill Peck.
No,
Right,
no,
so-
Denny, no, Denny. It would be like having a meeting where there is a advertised meeting, just as there was a commissioners meeting once where I came, I showed up, she called the roll and you two weren't here. That was not advertised, it was not recorded, and it was not posted online. So whenever there is not the majority of the board, a quorum, there is no there is no uploading of that meeting, because it wasn't a public meeting. It didn't exist. Just as there is not a meeting of me sitting here while the roll is being called and being the only one here, there is no uploaded record of that meeting last week as well, because it shouldn't be done. And if it had happened before, it was an error. Hopefully moving forward, they will only be uploading meetings that were advertised to the public where there is a quorum.
Okay, so all Trumbull County residents that want a copy of last week's workshop, file public records requests and jam up the commissioner's office with that.
I don't have access to that.
That's
Just
the
let
only
me
way to
know.
obtain it. It would probably be through the auditors. If you send it to the Board of Commissioners, they would share it to the auditors. So,
Okay, anybody else have anything for the good? Mr. Bellish, would you like to say anything while you're here?
Take the past executive session.
no, there's not we don't do executive sessions unless it relates to a very specific reason. Like personnel or
As to fall with
pending
one of the ORC
litigation. Yeah, it's
stipulations.
extremely specific for the reasons that you can have one. And then it also has to be read exactly perfectly. So we wouldn't be able to just do any types of executive sessions unless there's no.
It's all public. What we decide in daylight.
Yeah, it's fine. And you have the ability, and everyone has the ability, and this is what my desire was. There were public meetings where everyone came and presented, and if there was any follow-up based on what they heard, or if they listened to another public meeting and heard the competitor say something, then they had the ability to follow up in email. which is all I wanted to happen. I didn't see a need for continual meetings in public in order for this person to address that and this person to refute that. I think that's silly and that everyone had their opportunity and that appropriate follow-up should just be given via email, which is then a public record.
Okay, all right. Tom Bellish, Buckeye Energy Brokers. So on the agenda today was the agreement, a 3-year agreement with Buckeye Energy. So I do have that with me. So for the review, of the board. I'd like to present that.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if that's the one that was updated by our prosecutor's office.
Oh, yeah, I have no changes
Believe it.
from,
Okay.
that's been the same since probably May, I guess.
Oh, I
of-
believe he made recommendations. I'll look at that.
Okay, I did not see
I
those
probably didn't
changes.
send them to you.
Okay,
For example, you can't have indemnification clauses and certain things.
okay, I realize, yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
realize that was in
Okay.
there. Yeah, that's fine. That's wouldn't be a change I'd have a problem with. So, so basically I want to go over the timing of the implementation. So it is a March start, but there's a lot of things that need done before that. So the local utility has a 7-day rescission period, so that backs us up. There's also lead time, utility needs. Ohio Edison just doesn't change everybody on March 1st. They need lead time to make those changes. So you take that lead time, the 7-day rescission period, and then before that, there's a 21-day opt-out period. So we're really looking at mailing something mid-December. We could risk it, maybe go early January and maybe be on time, but I wouldn't rely on a supplier one way or another to be working over the holidays, doing mailings and letter and doing letters. So I would prefer something to be mailed early December if we could. So with that lead time, go ahead.
I have a question because I believe this to be true, but I want clarification. If this isn't met on time, then all of the customers who are under that program would be automatically flipped back to the rates of whom?
Ohio Edison,
Which is.
and that's rate is about 8.2 cents right now. So so that even before that in March,
It's not the gas, it's Ohio Edison and the people who don't have. People will be, who are in the program would be flipped back to Ohio Edison's rates, which are never going to be lower. They're going to be, or are they? Is it
Yeah,
possible that they'll?
yeah, they're going up. So
Yeah.
in June, I would think they're going up probably 20% or so, based
I'm
on
concerned
recent
about.
auctions. So things really need done by early December. And not only you have to an agreement with Buckeye or another broker, but then we need an agreement with the new electric supplier, whether that's Dynegy or some other supplier. So yeah, we're currently with since Dynegy bought Energy Harbor, the program is currently with Dynegy. So we need to pass another piece of legislation for that
For the rates,
supplier
correct?
for the rates, right? And so that's that's something I'd like to go over with the board, not in a public situation. So I do have some preliminary rates available to share that, and I think that's important
I
for
would-
the board to see.
Yeah, I would suggest, I see what you're saying, and in all fairness, I think that it should be something that's done. If they decide that they wanna wait to put it on the agenda at another time, then maybe when it gets closer to the day that we make the decision, we should be presented with those things, because I do understand the ability, if you said a dollar amount and they said another dollar amount, it just doesn't seem appropriate,
Yeah, my-
but for transparency, and because it's not a reason to have an executive session,
Mhm.
we have to make sure that it's out here like this,
Yeah. And it's not NOPEC I'm concerned about. They have a variable rate and 2 years ago, it was the highest rate in the state they've had. So it's not them, it's other competitors who may be watching this that I'm concerned about.
Oh,
And
is that the
in
other
the 14 years we've worked, no one's ever called me and requested NOPEC, but I've had calls on a weekly basis in areas that have NOPEC that want to use my services, but unfortunately they can't.
How many other counties around us use your services?
So we work mainly with cities, but we do Summit County is another county.
That's
we
the
work with.
closest to us?
Yes. Yeah, we do the electric program there with through Summit County.
And which townships, to all the townships, didn't we get a request, I believe, from Howland Township? Yeah.
Recommendation letter.
Recommendation too. I think our townships, except for two.
Yeah, I think so Brookfield and Liberty, I think, are two. And then Weathersfield wants to join in March.
And the city of Warren is not a
It-
customer of yours.
They are not. Right, that's correct.
Need to take a quick break and get it.
Go ahead.
So yeah, we would like to do this as soon as possible. If you can't do it today, maybe a special meeting. Because I'd like to have the next meeting, which is December 4th, have that to be the supplier approval meeting.
That's what I was explaining last week, because that's what I was trying to explain at the last meeting, is that there's a series of agenda items. And the one is the approval, and then the other one is the approval of the rate. And then they have to make sure that these procedures happen properly, like with the opt-out, in order to make sure that there's enough time to get people in the same, to keep people in the same program, let people join. And we want to make sure that no one gets reverted back to a much higher rate.
And there's nothing saying that would ever happen right now.
It
Us not
wouldn't.
voting today does not cause that to happen. So don't scare the public
No.
that if we don't do this today, that's what's gonna happen.
Actually, I mean, it's crunch time. You guys are worried about the ARPA money. I think you guys need to be worried about the citizens in Trumbull County, making sure that they don't have to go with the base rates of.
And they
Ohio
won't. And if
Edison.
they do, that'll be on me. You won't be here. It'll be on me if that happens.
Yeah,
So
it's,
I
but
feel
you can't-
confident that's not gonna happen.
and who is the business that you keep on talking to? Are they the ones from that CCAO recommends?
We've had presentations from NOPEC and CCAO, Palmer Energy,
Palmer, yeah,
Yep.
that one, okay.
and all three of them have things they presented us that they have parts of it that look better than the others. And I would like to have a special meeting where we have the three of them there to ask
All there
questions where they're
already.
there.
Yeah,
Let them give us their best bid, and then we make a decision at that workshop meeting,
I think that's.
and then
excessive.
come and
What do
vote
you
with what
think?
we want. We're not gonna force a
I don't
vote
know
in
where
here.
we're at. I don't know. where we're at.
He's, we already had those individuals come to a workshop.
And since then,
multiple
they've all
times.
had changes to what they said.
I-
And he
when I-
wants to
when I-
have another special meeting whenever they can.
When I
actually-
voted, I just prefaced it with the board needs to make a decision by the end of the year. So
Right.
very quickly.
I don't
So-
agree with another with a special meeting specifically for this. I just don't.
Well, would you agree to attend a workshop then next week or the week after
I'm
December
always
3rd?
On those, I listen to every meeting, and I've actually, when they were.
Commissioner, would December 3rd work for you for a workshop and
Yeah,
invite
should.
all,
when we were
should,
there, I've
yeah.
actually.
finalize it then?
I've even spoken up in some of those phone calls and asked clarifying questions.
Okay, December 3rd, we'll invite both of you back then at 10:30, and we'll make the topic of the workshop this aggregation program. And we'll invite all the entities that have done to come and give us their best pitch individually, and then we'll make a decision.
We've literally already done
We've
that.
not done that with them there. We've had done it individually, apples to oranges, and this one's better at this. And this one said this one can't do this. And this one said this one would do this and the other ones can't. I want them there so we can ask the real questions. I know we can't compare charts apples to apples with things, but we can at least ask those questions there together.
And
I think
Commissioner,
that's fair to
because
the public.
Commissioner, because you will be here, I will entertain that. That's fine.
Thank you.
Because we will not be here.
So let's do
Coming
December 3rd at 10:30 for our workshop. And I think that's as fair as we can be to the public, that we do our due diligence the best we can. Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Julie Green?
Yes, one more thing, Julie Green, Trumbull County Planning. I wanted to request that the commissioners confirm the appointments for the Planning Commission. And I wanted to explain a little bit because every 3 years, it's a little different when you're reappointing the members for the largest city and the home rule townships, which just happens to be this year. So Ohio Revised Code 713 says that the commissioners are to appoint a representative from the largest city based on the recommendations provided to them. And the same thing goes for the home rule townships. And so I wanted to let you know that I believe the city of Warren emailed a letter
They did.
today.
Today,
Just this
again?
morning.
I believe so. And I know that both townships, both Liberty and Howland have already provided their recommendation. Both happen to be reappointments. And so if the Board of Commissioners have any questions about that, because it's unique, it's not the same as the other positions that we've been filling over the last couple of years. Maybe consult with legal counsel if you have objections to those reappointments.
I thought they were going to be on the agenda today. I didn't know.
Now, here's what I would like, and the reason why they shouldn't have been on the agenda today is, I would like to have a copy of the, of course you would have liked to just rubber stamp them, but they didn't even receive the recommendation from Warren. So what I'd like to.
I talked to the
okay.
mayor. I already knew the recommendation.
So I would like to see the advertisement
That was
and the,
done through your
the app-
office.
okay.
Mhm.
The
Your office
I've already
has all of
asked her.
that.
I'm asking you because
I
you
don't
won't
have
do
it.
it,
I'm
okay?
sorry, I don't
So-
have it.
So when it's placed on the agenda, I just the advertisements, the applications that were submitted, and then the correspondence from people who were interested, because there might have been someone who maybe sent an email for something and didn't receive the application. I just want to see the correspondence and the recommendations from the townships and the city. That's what I'd like to see. A file.
That's all you need to see.
Yes.
That has to be what we go by. It's not an at-large position. They have one applicant
So
that they've
let's-
selected for both of these
As
positions.
agenda items for three positions, I'd like to see them together
Two
because,
positions.
I'm sorry, I believe there are three.
Well, those are the two that are specified in Ohio Revised Code. There is an at-large position, but
exactly.
I
The
did,
two that you mentioned.
right. I wasn't bringing that up because the at-large is up to the
Correct.
decision of
Which
the
is why
board.
I'm asking for all of those things so that we can put them on at the same time and be able to review everything to make sure that it was done correctly and to make sure that we're looking at all of those things, including the recommendations in writing. So I would just like to see them all together, not filtered in, or someone sent something in back in October or something like that.
October, all three
since
of
it's
you were
going-
given a file.
Since it's coming to our agenda in December, then I would like to see all of those things at one time in order to review them. So that I could know that I'm voting on someone who was recommended.
Just to be clear, the deadline, I think, was the end of September for all of that.
27.
And I had discussed this, I think, a number of times at the workshops, asking the commissioners to add it. And the only reason I do that is I know you have a lot of other items that you have to deal with, but it is time sensitive because if we don't have a full planning commission, that could potentially affect the, approval process for our plats and zoning.
Well, you have a
So-
quorum at least.
Well, potentially. I mean, sometimes we have people that don't attend and, that's three appointments. And so if they're not done, that's a risk. But in any case, it's ultimately up to you. I'll do my best to collate the information again
Just-
with,
And one
I
thing
think it's already here though.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
she doesn't. So,
You received it.
okay.
We all
I
received
mean,
it.
Okay,
That's all I have. Thank
I
you.
had nothing from Warren as of yesterday, and
No,
that's.
no,
the
he
reasons I-
didn't. He didn't.
together, if these are coming on the agenda and they're your items in order to.
They're not my items.
Okay, all right.
Because truthfully, I
You
mean,
sent over recommendations, so do
Yeah.
other boards. They
no,
send
no,
over
no,
their-
we're not.
He's not recommending.
No, I'm not. I'm not recommending it. What I had stated early in the process is we are willing to, help with putting together the ranking sheets, putting together the application, putting together the news release. But all of those things go to your office.
Can you, when you get them together, could you email them to me at least directly? Because if you're just sending them to Lisa, there's no.
He doesn't
I'm not,
receive
I
them.
don't receive them. I don't. If I had them, I would send them
You
right
could
now.
send them I would hope you would hang on to them, because I'm just saying,
We
She,
don't-
she doesn't pick her own board.
Difficult.
That's us for
No.
us to pick the board. She
Okay.
has no involvement in that.
No.
She's given the board members that we give her.
typically
Yeah.
you have sent over and others, others.
If they send them to us
other
in
bo-
error, I
other boards
forward stuff. But yeah,
gather them who are more responsible than internally here.
thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
Yeah, I did, I want to be clear that I was requesting something and I really think it's important that we know. There is the agenda item to hire the legal counsel for the auditor's office. And I believe that it was intended in order to address conflict or like figure out how to repay, but I don't know that the agreement says that they're to have
There's no agreement. What you did is on September 25th, the board agreed to petition along with the prosecutor, the Court of Common Pleas to appoint my attorney. That's all that was done. And I forgot to bring up the words because I have reference
But it wasn't
agendas.
to represent you and being sued. It was. I believe-
Absolutely. Actually, it does mention litigation. Yes, it does. I can tell you that. Absolutely, it
So there
does.
was no threat of a lawsuit until I saw it in the news yesterday.
Oh, there's a threat. It just
The
wasn't
threat from day
public.
one, they mentioned that here in the meeting. the
And it
trustees.
does, it addresses, there's a whole list. It's from September 25th. I keep a file of reference agendas for myself. You should probably think about that. And so I looked it
Yeah,
up
staff
and
too.
it does say litigation in
Okay,
it.
so what I would like to say though is we have a situation where if there's a finding for recovery, it could be personal to people, and I don't think it's appropriate for the county.
At this
Hang
point-
on, I don't think it's appropriate for all of the taxpayers in Trumbull County to be defending you in a matter where you should be paying for that yourself, or if you could just.
Logic here, you're assuming that there's gonna be a finding for recovery.
And we're not,
even
and
if
there
there's
would not be a finding of
These-
recovery from the court. It would come, that would
It would
come from the,
auditor's office.
and that's probably several years away.
So
ma'am.
why not just pay?
If-
So rather than wasting taxpayers' money, I think it's most appropriate to just personally pay that community back so that they can have their operations running instead of having the taxpayers pay for your attorney. It just doesn't make any sense because it's covered from our general fund. It's not an insurance item, and we don't know how long this will go on. And we've got a harmed township, and we've got the county taxpayers covering the cost of defending against something that shouldn't have happened in the first place.
With all due respect, Commissioner,
We have harmed taxpayers if they pay twice.
exactly. But with all due respect, Commissioner, you have absolutely no clue. And at this point, because it is being litigated, it's inappropriate to keep discussing things that you do not know
You're
and
talking-
understand facts that are not true. Absolutely not true.
What's not true is whenever you said that, oh, what was it that you quoted to the You quoted something to the news about them needing to have corrected it, but it,
Oh,
well,
absolutely.
you took
Absolutely.
the-
And I can say this because it has been in the news. They turned off their defense. That is the bottom line. And they refuse to take any responsibility. And until they take responsibility, liability cannot be determined
until they take responsibility.
for turning off their multi-factor authentication, ma'am.
The-
You have no clue. You understand technology about as well as a bear understands driving a car. So you need to just chill.
Okay, so I'll respond to that. There is an actual, the request came in from an email that was not the actual email.
That is my point.
And to change,
They were hacked. It's not a
You-
fish. You do not understand this because
I-
you do not have the brain cells to understand it. So you need to just stop. Stop saying things that are false.
I don't have the brain cells to okay.
You
so-
don't. You've
Okay.
destroyed them all. So you need to just stop right now. You need to stop.
Okay,
Y-
so
ma'am, you
there is an actual email sent out from the auditor of state's office saying
And it
that
was, and listen,
describing the exact
no,
scam that you fell
describing,
victim to.
describing a
And you,
phishing.
and you did it. You did it. That's the, I understand
You
that you're
do not
being,
understand
I
the
understand
facts
you're
of this case, but as
defensive, you're
usual, you keep
defensive,
commenting
you're-
on things you do not
right.
understand.
you're
So-
defensive, you're projecting.
No,
Clearly you're
narcissists
projecting.
do that and you're very
That's
good
what
at
you're
it.
Doing. Martha, look at yourself. I mean, look what you just did. There's a community that doesn't have the funds to operate their.
They do have
safety
the
even-
funds, and if they came to us and they needed a loan with some reason,
They actually
pending
did,
it,
they
the
came to
board
the
would
board,
consider.
they came to the Board of Commissioners and they requested assistance and you guys didn't want to. You wanted to defend the little.
We didn't, what
auditor.
do you mean we didn't want to? What?
Yeah.
Who said we didn't want to? I live there. I want my township taken care of, absolutely. I want them made whole 100%, but I
It's
want to follow
really
the law.
bad. It's.
I'm not gonna take
We-
one taxpayer
You guys are
dollars
spending
out of the same
money,
people if we can recoup it in other ways.
cooping it in other ways. That's so sad. You know, the auditor came, you go to every single township association meeting, except for the one where the state auditor came and discussed exactly the mistake that you guys made.
Right. He also said that the townships should have security also. There are also memos
Okay.
regarding security of a township. And he urged all townships out there to add multi-factor identification with their security means.
Commissioner Malloy,
Yes.
I'd like to speak one more time because something came up after I spoke last. To go to what Mrs. Auditor Yoder said, 21 and 27 put out news posts about how Bezetta was suing the auditor's office.
Right.
Now, this is all still pending stuff. A lot of legal litigation is going to be coming forth.
Right.
And like everybody keeps saying, you got to watch what you're saying. Now, this was sent to me. This is on both 21's news post and 27's. Nikki Frenchco says, in regards to Bezetta, good for them. And shame on Yoder, Cantamalessa, and Malloy for excusing her messifence and not voting with me to formally request that she pay the township back personally. Timestamp November 18th, 4:37 PM. That's Commissioner Frenchco commenting on future litigation that has to do with our auditor's
Are you
office.
stalking me again?
This was sent to me, ma'am. Okay, when you do things in public and people see them, things happen. News gets around. I'm not stalking you. Stop spreading that lie. I beat you in court twice. Stop lying.
Please.
Yeah, I do feel it's irresponsible for any of us
We're
to
not,
make to comment on this. It doesn't involve us at this point. When it involves us, it will.
we're not parties to that, so we can. And
Why don't you keep your
and
mouth shut then if
if
you're not?
that's the case, then I don't, and I'm trying to understand why the Board of Commissioners has actively discussed.
You saw a
litigation.
camera and you were like a fly to the
They
camera and you gotta go
they
run and
have
say something. As
Actively.
dumb as it is, as long as you say something, you're happy.
Actively address litigation that the board was a party to in order to help employees receive settlement.
And we will, if they need,
And
if
you
they,
will.
if they need. If
And you
President
will.
Township needs
No, I'm
assistance, they
talking
can come to
about
us.
for settlements, and you've spoken against the advice of counsel for things that included you in order to help.
You are
people obtain
exhausted.
those
What are you talking about?
settlements.
You are
Exhausting.
exhausted, man.
Okay, I'm
Please.
sorry, you don't have
I mean,
the,
the settlements we had to pay out because of your actions terrorizing employees. You proved it again every meeting we have.
Coordinated that.
Now you're going after the
Coordination.
coroner, who's in a different party, political party than you. And I thought it was your attorney that said we don't
It's
persecute
coordination.
our political opponents. And you disgrace this guy how many times in today's meeting?
Let's,
Not only him, but every official you get, every
Okay,
employee, every
second.
official.
I'll make
You
a
want them to
motion to
work in
adjourn.
deplorable
Second.
conditions.
just terrible.
Second,
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yeah.
Have a normal meeting.